Guess what, guys? It's Easter. So, basically, for today, I have planned a super long video. It's probably going to be one of the longest videos I've ever done, besides the Michael Schumacher podcast. And today's video is basically all of the 7 parts that I did, reading the story out loud, put together into one entire video. So there's going to be no breaks between. You won't see my face, you just see like 7 different pictures of red pandas, because 7 chapters. And there will also be another outro. Yeah, I just had this idea because I had nothing else to do on Monday, and I want to have you guys leave in the comments down below what you want me to do on Monday. So the options are, there'll be either a change in my schedule, and you guys get to decide like how my schedule is going to change. I do want to keep the podcasts on a Saturday because you know, going into the weekend, it can be quite stressful after all of these days of work you've had. So you want to relax with some podcasts that has just been posted. So therefore I'm going to keep the podcasts on Saturday, but you can decide what I'm going to be doing in the rest of the week. Just make sure that it is there isn't too much and all of that stuff. I have already started another thing on my YouTube. It isn't there yet. It isn't visible. And that is predictions challenges, I think I'm going to be calling it. And basically it is just like, you know, it's like, well, I've done predictions for MotoGP, Moto2, Moto3. I'm also going to be doing that for Formula 1. And basically this is a series that's going to go on until I stop watching it, which will be at the point of my death, probably. Hopefully not. But I'll be doing these challenges every time when I get something correct. And I'll just make predictions, like 3 predictions for each class. So in total I will have 9 or 12 predictions. 9 or 12 predictions. Just doing the math in my head. So I will be basically having, well, it will be either 3, 9 or 12. Because sometimes there's no Formula 1, there is Formula 1, but there's no MotoGP and stuff. So I'm basically going to be doing these predictions every time on stream. The link is in the description down below, so make sure you don't miss it. And I'll basically just go and ask, like, what do you think what do I have to do when I get it correct? I'll only do it when I get it correct, because it's a lot more fun that way. Most people do like forfeits, and I don't want to do that because it's not that original. So therefore, I'm going to be doing doing it when I get it correct. I've got 9 so far, and one of them is one that I need to have some research on, like how to record it on my PlayStation. And that is a last to first challenge. I still need to ask the person who suggested it, can I do it in Formula 2? Because I prefer Formula 2 above Formula 1, not to watch it, but to race in it on the game. And there are a lot more other stuff, like push-ups, which I suck at doing. There's also a few baking stuffs, cookie and cake, which I have seen on someone else's channel. I will link those also in the description down below. It's from LaurenzSide I. I will link her videos where she did it down in the description. So yeah, make sure to check that out if you want to know what I'm going to be doing if I get, well, the baking part when I get those predictions correct. And yeah, So I'll be doing those every time. But yeah, before we go into today's video, this super long video, I want you guys to subscribe because I want to dye my hair. Okay, it sounds weird, but I want to dye my hair. A lot of people want me to, so please do them a favor and subscribe. Also hit the like button and comment down below what you think I'm going to be doing with my schedule. I haven't said what I'm going to be doing the other way. So I've said I want to keep the podcast on Saturday. I think I'm going to have those challenges on Monday then. So it's either going to be you change around my schedule, or I'm going to have the challenges on Monday. And if I have multiple challenges, then I'll have to do them all scattered around the week. Unless they are like all gonna fit in one video. So yeah, let me know in the comments down below and I will let you guys go to the video where I'm gonna be reading the entire story and hurting my throat, which is not good. I would also like to point out that my mum, at the point of me recording this part is recorded on Friday. The story reading part is recorded on Saturday, I think. I'm gonna be recording that tomorrow. Today my mum has left to get her coronavirus vaccine. So as at least one person gonna be protected in my family, in my household, from coronavirus, and I'm super happy. Yeah, I'm super happy. Now we're just gonna wait for me. I will let you guys know if I get a message that I can get my my corona vaccine, and yeah, I will let you guys now go through to the video because this intro is way too long. I don't like long intros, to be fair. I don't know why I keep doing them myself. But yeah, now we'll go to the video.
The red panda's origin dates back when the red panda first got discovered by humans. These humans tortured them for decades by putting them into cages too small for them to even turn their body around. The little innocent pandas couldn't fight against them. Hopeless, stuck they were. But one of the pandas was smart. She waited until the guards were away, and she escaped. She snuck aboard a ship with the same color as her fur. No one noticed her aboard, but she didn't know where she would end up. The next morning she woke up and saw a man staring at her. "Don't worry," said the man. "I will take care of you." The man carefully grabbed the red panda and took her to his lonely daughter Kyra. Kyra has a special ability. She has the power of nature, and with that she can speak with animals. She found out about the red panda's family and decided to keep her. Kyra named her Carla, named after her mother, who died in a car accident. Kyra studied the animal closely and made a costume similar to Carla's fur, but with vibranium in it, from her father, seen as he used to work in Wakanda. She also discovered how nanotechnology works, and she made a wristband for housing the nanoparticles. Kyra never told anyone about her pet red panda until her first day in school in Auckland. There she met two other students, Luca and Lando. Luca came from Queenstown and Lando from Bristol. Lando was also an F1 racer, but Kyra didn't know that. They bumped into each other and had a chat. Kyra walked through the halls of her new school. Then she walked into two boys. "Well, are you okay?" did one of them say. "Yeah," said Kyra. "I wasn't looking where I was going. I'm Kyra. I'm new to this school." "I am Lando," said one of the boys. "And this is Luca." Suddenly they heard a voice. I hope she would treat you to better than her other friends. And she walked away. What was that about? Asked Lando. Oh, said Kyra. I had friends who were like assholes to me. They weren't nice at all. They started bullying me because Hayden told them what I said about them. Hayden was one of my old friends, and now she goes to this school as well. It's a nightmare. They walked to the lockers, and Luca asked, So, where are you from, Kyra? Because you don't sound like you're from New Zealand. I'm born in London, England. Every weekend there was a race event at Silverstone. My dad took me there. But ever since we moved to New Zealand, we have to watch it on TV. Why have you moved out of England? Asked Lando. I don't know, said Kyra. She put her books into her locker, but a packet fell out of her backpack. It fell on the ground. What is that? Asked Luca, and he picked up the packet. He wanted to open it, but Kyra pulled it from his hands. It's a memory for my mother, did she say. She died in a car accident. I'm sorry, said Luca. It's okay, said Kyra. You can't know everything about me. We've only just met. Well, I have a great idea to get to know each other better, said Lando. Let's all go to my place. We'll have some dinner and play games. Yeah, said Kyra. What time? Lando grabbed Kyra's hand and wrote something on it. It read, 5 p.m, the big white house opposite school. Okay, said Kyra. I will be there. The bell rang. It was time for the first lesson of the day. Kyra, have fun tonight, okay? Asked Kyra's father, Tommy. Yes, Dad, said Kyra. Don't worry, I got this. Besides, Lando is cooking for us. He's cooking for us. When Kyra said Lando, Tommy jumped. Lando? Lando the F1 driver? What do you mean? Asked Kyra. Tommy showed her a picture of Lando standing next to an F1 McLaren with Carlos Sainz. Wait, what? Kyra was confused. You just met an F1 driver, Kyra, said Tommy. Kyra nodded and gave her father a hug. Oh, and Kyra, asked Tommy, if they ask you about pets, don't say you have a red panda. And don't tell them you are sort of a superhero. Dad, come on, said Kyra. Why would I not tell them? They could make good sidekicks. No, said her father. They cannot know you have the power of nature. And never show them your hero suit. Kyra sighed and walked away to Lando's estate. Hey, Kyra, said Lando. Come in, dinner is already on the table. Kyra walked into the front room and saw 3 pizzas on the table. There was a pizza quattro formaggi, a pizza con pollo, and a pizza Hawaii. Lando, asked Kyra, be honest, did you order the pizzas instead of making them yourself? I'm not the best in cooking, said Lando with a smile on his face. But I do try to cook. I can teach you, said Kyra. Lando chuckled and sat down at the table. All 3 of them ate the pizzas until there was no slice left. When they went to wash the dishes, Luca asked, Kyra, what is in that big case of yours? Kyra looked at Luca. Why do you want to know? Asked Kyra. Are you hiding a secret? Asked Lando. Kyra turned around to Lando and said, Well, you've never told us you were racing in Formula 1. Lando looked at her and said, True, but I was going to tell you tonight. Now tell us, what's in that case? While Lando said that, Kyra sneakily walked into the kitchen. Luca noticed her first and jumped onto the counter. Luca, said Kyra, why are you on the counters? Is there a bug in the kitchen? No, shouted Luca. "But there's a red raccoon in the kitchen!" Cara was confused, but then Luca pointed towards Carla. Only then Cara realized that Carla snuck out of the case. "Carla, you were supposed to stay in the case!" "You own a red panda?" asked Lando. "A rescued red panda. And her name is Carla, named after my mum. But having red pandas as pets," said Luca, "that's illegal." "I know," said Cara. My dad took care of it. He got a warrant for housing almost extinct animals. He wants to save the species." "Wait," said Lando. "Let's talk about this more privately." He closed all the windows and curtains. He turned on the lights in the front room, and there they talked about what was going on with the red panda. "So," said Lando, "you have the power of nature and you can speak to animals?" "Yes," said Cara. "That's how I knew about Carla's family. They are all in captivity by humans who want to ruin their territory. You have to do something about it." There fell an awkward silence over the table. Then Luca said, "What if we go to that place and set free all the pandas?" "We'll get caught, Luca. It's impossible," said Cara. "All the cages are scattered around the forest. If we save one group and try to reach the other group, for sure those men will put those we saved back in their cages. It's more like a do or die mission." "I can raise money with all the other drivers," said Lando. "Next weekend I am racing in Australia, and there are always lots of people there at the race weekend, so that's not an issue." "You speak like it isn't the end of the world," said Cara. "For me it is. Red pandas are the source of my powers. The more there are, the stronger I am. And if there are no red pandas left, I will not be who I want to be." She looked down at the ground, feeling tears forming in her eyes. Then she felt a hand on hers. She looked up and saw it was Lando who held her hand. "Don't worry, Cara. We will save them. Whatever it takes. Whatever it takes." Cara softly repeated Lando. He smiled and said, "I can get you both VIP tickets for the next weekend. You will be in the McLaren pit box during all sessions." Luca and Cara cheered. They were excited to go to an F1 race while being in a pit box. Then it was time to go home. The next day in school, Cara, Luca and Lando met up early, so no one would hear their conversation. They were talking about how to save the red pandas. "How are we gonna handle it?" asked Lando. "Well," said Cara, and she looked down to the ground. "I may have found how nanotechnology works." Luca and Lando were surprised when she said that. Then Luca said, "But how? How did you do it?" "Long story," said Cara. "I will give you the short version of it. You know, you guys know the Avengers, right?" The boys nodded and Cara carried on. "Well, one of the newest Avengers, Spider-Man, has a friend who can hack for good cause. So I messaged him to help me. Together we found out how nanotech works. Also how to house the particles." Cara looked around to see if anyone was around. Then she showed the boys her wristband. Cara pressed a button on her wristband and a suit appeared from the wristband. "Whoa," said Luca. "That's cool." Cara chuckled and said, "It's based on the fur of the red pandas, orangey red kind of color. They can hide in the trees with no one knowing they're there." "Someone is coming," said Lando. And Cara pressed another button on her wristband. The suit disappeared, but she didn't see anyone. She saw Lando laughing and said, "Do you think that's funny? It isn't funny at all, man." "Okay," said Lando. "I'm sorry." "Don't do that ever again," said Cara. "I need to go to the restroom," said Luca. "Won't be long." Luca walked towards the entrance of the school. while Kara and Lando carried on talking. Then, all of a sudden, they heard Luca screaming. Lando looked around. He saw no one else and said, "Put the suit on now." "Not now," said Kara. "The best way to fight bad guys is to make them think you're vulnerable." And she climbed onto the roof. There she jumped from tree to tree until she was close enough. There she heard Luca and another guy. "Where is that red fox? Where is he?" "What red fox?" asked Luca. "They are illegal to own or to put in tiny cages." "How do you know about that?" said the other guy. That was the call for Kara to drop down. When she landed, she said, "Because someone told him about it." "What do you want from us?" asked Lando with an angry voice. "And why do you need those red pandas?" asked Luca. The man didn't know what to do. It was 3 against 1. "You," did he say to Kara. "You will pay for what you have done." "Oh," said Kara calmly. "I didn't do anything, but I will. Those red pandas are free animals, and they should be." "Clever girl," said the guy. He pulled a knife and said, "Surrender now or else." "Or what?" asked Luca. "You'll call the police?" Cute. Lando signed to Kara to put her suit on. "Don't speak to me with that tone," said the guy. "What do you think you can do with you stuck?" "Well," said Luca, "how about distracting you?" Before the guy could even answer, he got grabbed by the coat and heard, "You will not threaten my friends." Then he got swung backwards against the tree. Kara walked towards him and said, "My name is Kyra, and I own the power of nature." She made vines appear out of the ground. The vines crawled around the guy's body, holding him down. But it didn't last long, because he pulled the vines from the ground and threw a knife towards Kyra. Kyra didn't even move, and the knife went straight to her heart. But it didn't go through her suit. The guy was shocked. He stood up and ran towards Kyra, but he tripped over someone's leg. Kyra didn't know what was happening, but then she saw Daniel Ricciardo appear. He fought the guy. Kyra helped Daniel with the fight. They fought real hard. But Daniel got kicked against the wall and Kyra got thrown against a tree. The guy looked at her and said, "Don't you ever interfere with my business again." And he jumped onto the roof and disappeared. Lando ran towards Kyra and Luca to Daniel. "Kyra," said Lando, "that was..." I know, said Kyra. She looked at Daniel, who said, "How could that place not pierce you?" "Vibranium," said Kyra. "My dad used to work in Wakanda, but ever since that big explosion at that border, he doesn't work there anymore. He nearly got killed because of that explosion." "Kyra!" did they all hear. "Oh shit," said Kyra. "It's my father." She pressed the button on her wristband to make her suit disappear. "Kyra," said Tommy. "What happened here, and who are those guys?" "Well," said Kyra, "Bosch said that she saw the principal coming too. That's Luca, that's Daniel, and you obviously know Lando. Someone attacked us. Well, actually, someone attacked Luca, and we tried to help them, and then we got attacked as well." "Boys," said the principal, "come with me." And Luca, Lando, and Daniel followed the principal. When they were gone, Kyra said, "Lando and Luca know everything about Carla, and they want to help." Tommy sighed, but she carried on. "They are good guys, on our side. Lando can also raise money at the race in Australia, and Luca and I can go with him next weekend." "Kyra," said Tommy, "I don't trust Luca. Lando is a good guy. I met him when he was still karting. But Luca, I feel he's up to something." "You can't say that about him," said Kyra. He's a nice guy and offers help. Then Kara changed the subject. The vibranium did his thing though. The guy who attacked us threw a knife towards me, but it didn't strike. Tommy laughed and hugged her. I'm glad I got some when I retired, did he say. I knew we could use it one day. The boys walked towards Kyra and Daniel said, he's now in Australia. We don't know where, but we will face him soon, I reckon. Kyra nodded, and then Lucas said, the principal gave us permission to travel with Lando any time, so we can go to all those amazing circuits. Plus we can skip school due to what happened to us. It isn't skipping when you have permission to do so, Luca, said Kara, and they went back home to get ready for the big day in Australia. The next day, Kyra and Luca were in Australia. They arrived early to do the track walk with Lando and his crew. Albert Park, said Lando, when they were at turn 1. This is the track we always start the season on. Kyra was impressed by the way the track was made. She had never been to an F1 race outside of England before, let alone a racing track. Then all of a sudden they heard, Lando! It was Carlos shouting from the pit lane. When Carlos reached turn 1, he said, Lando, did you finally get yourself a girlfriend? No, stammered Lando. You know I told you I was going to school? I found one in New Zealand. And it's an amazing school. But this is one of my new classmates, Kyra. She's here to raise money and awareness for the red pandas. They're almost extinct. But Lando, said Carlos, why are you in school in New Zealand if England has schools as well? Lando said, because I want to race and that school in New Zealand is flexible in that way. Only if you get good results, said Kara. You'll have to score at least a D if you want to finish school. We're in our last year there. Okay, said Carlos. Have fun and enjoy your time here. And he left the McLarens on the run. But what they didn't know was that the bad guy sat on the roof of the Mercedes pit box, looking down at them. Back at the McLaren pit box, Luca asked, how did the pit stops work? Why? Asked Zach Brown, McLaren's team principal. Do you want to be a mechanic? If you want, we can let you help tomorrow during the 2 sessions. Who do you want to be with? Luca thought about it and said, I want to be with Ricciardo. Okay, said Zach. That's settled. You'll help Daniel. My lady, what do you want to do this weekend? And me? Asked Kyra. Well, I want to help with the pit strategies. That's one of the most important things, right? It's not just about who the fastest guys are, but it's also about who has the best strategies. Zach looked at Lando and said, Where did you pick her up? At my school, said Lando. Why? Because she knows how to win, said Zach, and he walked towards the 2 radio guys of Lando and Daniel. Kara gathered all the data concerning the grip levels of the hard, medium and soft tires from Lando and Daniel. From that she made several strategies. Sunday morning, race day. All the teams were ready to bring their drivers and cars to the grid. Lando had to start from the back of the grid due to an engine change. Kara standing next to Lando's car. She felt a shiver up her spine. Lucas saw Kyra and said, Hey, Kyra, are you okay? No, said Kyra. I have the feeling something bad is going to happen. Luca grabbed her hands and said, You don't have to worry. They are used to seeing a red flag. That's not what I mean, said Kyra. I'm not talking about a race incident. I'm talking about... About what? Asked Luca. Kyra couldn't answer because she got called to the side of the track. The formation lap was about to begin. Kara ran towards a guy from the FIA and said, "Sir, something bad is about to happen. And I'm not talking about a race incident that brings out a red flag. No. Remember what happened in Monaco when Stock went into an F1 car? I'm talking about that." Drivers finished their formation lap and found their spot on the grid. Kara went back to the pit wall to watch the start. One light went on, and another light, until there were 5 red lights. And the lights went off and all the cars started to race. George Russell had an amazing start, shooting past Hamilton, who was on pole. On the exit of turn 1, an Alpine and a Haas spun. It was Alonso and Mazepin. They sprinted towards the pits, but got held up by a guy. Kara saw it. It was the guy who attacked them. She didn't hesitate and ran towards the pit exit. When she was nearly there, she pressed the button on her wristband and her suit was on, this time with a mask. She used the Williams pit wall to launch herself into the air. In the air she shouted, "Fernando, Nikita, run!" When Kara landed, she started to fight, bringing it to the track. George was still leading the race, but not for long. The FIA saw what happened on the straight and called the red flag. Everyone into the pits. Well, not everyone. Because the red flag came late for George, meaning he had to go around the track again to reach the pits. He went towards Kara and the bad guy. Kara jumped out of the way early and hit the pit wall hard with her foot. She was so in pain that she couldn't see what the bad guy was up to. He grabbed his axe, and when George was close enough, the bad guy hit the Williams' left suspension with the axe. This made the car hitting the barrier, making barrel rolls after barrel rolls until it came to a stop at the back of the turn 1 gravel trap. The bad guy laughed devilishly and walked towards the broken Williams. Kara stood up, limping a bit. She saw how the Williams slowly caught fire and how George was desperately trying to escape. The marshals couldn't do anything without help. The car was blocking their entrance to the track. Kara saw Lando, Alex and Charles waiting on the pit exit. She looked at them and said, "I will distract him. You guys get to George and get him out." The trio nodded and Kara said, "On my count." She waited a bit and said, "Now!" And they all ran as fast as they could. Kara grabbed pieces of the Williams' debris as weapons and shields. She fought the bad guy hard, kicking, punching and blocking. She knocked the bad guy's weapon out of his hand and threw him into the pit wall. Hamilton and Verstappen grabbed him by the arms and dragged him away. Kara then ran towards the broken Williams. Luckily George was okay and out of the car. Midnight at Albert Park. Kara sat on the inner curb at turn 1. Luca sat down next to her. They sent George to the med center just to make sure that he's definitely okay, did he say. Kara looked at him and said, "The FIA cancelled this season, seeing that it was an attack on the drivers. They want them to be safe." Lando joined in. George only has bruises. Nothing major, but his ego took a big hit. "Then it's good the FIA cancelled this season," said Kara. "Now we will have time to recover his ego from this scary moment." "I also talked with the bad guy," said Lando. "He said to me he wants that Panda back. If you give her to him, he will leave us alone." "No," said Kara. And she stood up. "I am not gonna stop until all of those innocent pandas are free. That man is torturing them, putting them into cages where they can barely move around in. Carla was in that position, but she was able to escape. Animals learn from each other. My father found out that Carla is the mother of little pandas, she taught me. Then they heard a beep sound. He escaped, said Luca. He's in a jungle, in the Himalayas. Carol looked at Luca, then to Lando and said, the habitat of the red pandas. He's gonna do something to them. We have to stop him. Kyra, said Luca, I will go with you. We don't know how long we'll need to save them. Lando must go back to his home. The FIA said so. He'll be our guy in the chair, telling us where to go, what to do, and when to attack. Okay, said Kyra. We leave early in the morning. No one has to know, and no one can be put in more danger than they already are. Kyra and Luca went to get their suitcases for the next day. The next morning, they were all at Lando's house. Here, said Lando, and he gave something to Kyra and Luca. With this you will hear me, even if you're on the other side of the globe. Invisible to the bare eye. Kyra looked at Lando and said, thank you. I rented a boat, said Luca. It will bring us as close to the Himalayas as it can. We have to walk the rest of it. Lando will guide us through the vegetation to the camp of the bad guy. When we reach the camp, Kyra, we wait for Lando's call and we take him out. Then we set free all the pandas and make a run for it. Sounds good, said Lando. But if you want to be on time, you'll have to go now. Lando gave Luca a hug and Luca left. Kyra wanted to follow him, but Lando stopped her. Kyra, please be careful. I saw you hitting your foot against that wall. It says nothing, said Kyra. If I feel good, then it's fine. Yeah, said Lando. He put his hands on her shoulders. I just care about you. I don't want you to suffer. Lando, said Kyra, and she put her hands on Lando's hands. This suit is made out of vibranium. Bullets and knife will bounce right off without hurting me. Promise me, said Lando softly. Promise me you don't take off your suit when you're in the jungle. I promise, said Kyra. Lando smiled and kissed Kyra on her cheek. He stepped back. Kyra left with Luca on the way to save the pandas. Later that day, they arrived at the coastline. Luca got off first to help Kyra, but she just walked past him. Luca walked into the jungle with Kyra, who put on a suit. I promised it to Lando, did she say. He wants me to come out unharmed. Luca looked at her and said, I won't say he's wrong. I've known him for a pretty long time now. He hates seeing his friends suffer from pain. Kyra looked away from him. She could feel a tear dropping from her eyes. She quickly wiped it away and carried on. A while later, they came across a field of bamboo. We're getting close, said Kyra. Bamboo is part of the red panda's diet. And it looks like they were here yesterday or the day before. They cannot be far. They carried on walking and stopped at a cavern to rest. I'll see what there is to eat around here, said Luca. We have to eat something. Kyra looked at him and said, Bamboo is edible, just the sprouts. It isn't the best you will be eating, but it will do for now. Okay, said Luca, and he went to look for some bamboo sprouts. 10 minutes later, he came back with 2 bags full of bamboo sprouts. This will be enough, I reckon. For the time we'll spend here, this must be enough. No, said Kyra. This isn't enough to give us energy for the next day. Bamboo gives a little energy per sprout. But there's lots of bamboo around, so if we feel like snacking, we can just get some wherever we want. We should rest up, said Luca. It's getting late, and if we want to beat those guys, we'll have to be well rested. Kara nodded and laid down. You know, said Kara, I'm still pretty shaken up from George Russell's shunt. Just the way how the car flew into the barriers. This again proves how protective the halo is. Luca sat down next to her and said, You did everything you could. That man's intention was to hit your weak spot. And he found it. Luca, said Kara, what is your weak spot? My father, Simon, said Luca. He's the one who raised me on his own. I never knew my mum. My father doesn't want to speak about it. Kara got up into a sitting position and said, But your father is safe, am I correct? If so, you have nothing to worry about. My father isn't safe, said Luca. The government is after him. He was a criminal before he met my mum and stopped being a criminal until she left him. He started illegal trading with furs of animals, later with furs of endangered animals. Did you ever find him in your house? Asked Kara. Luca nodded and said, The fur of a red panda. Kara looked at him and said, What did you do when you found out? I can't tell you, said Luca. Kara grabbed him by the collar of his shirt. She brought his face close to hers and said, What did you do? Luca couldn't resist but kiss Kara. He put his forehead against Kara's and then he said, I brought it to the local zoo as an artifact for people who want to know more about the red pandas. I also told him how I found them. That I found a dead red panda skinned off his fur. That I left the corpse for the predators of that area and brought the fur to them. Kara sighed in relief and said, At least you have a golden heart. Many people would just keep it for themselves. She kissed Luca, and while kissing, they laid back down. The next morning, they woke up. They had a quick bite to eat and took off further into the forest. In the distance, they heard voices. Luca looked at Kara, and they got down to the grounds. They got down to the grounds to not be noticed immediately. Kara called in on Lando. Lando, we found them. Good, said Lando on the comm. I am connected to the satellite connection. This means I can see and hear what they are doing. They are moving in 10 minutes from now. Okay, said Luca. Thanks for the information. Keep us posted. Roger that, said Lando. Over and out. Kara looked at Luca, who was taking in the environment. What are you doing? Asked Kara. Planning an escape route, said Luca. If we get caught, we need to get out safely. Do you need help with that? Asked Kara. No, said Luca. It's best if one of us does this. Otherwise, we might split up unwanted. Kara noticed Luca acting weird. They waited 10 minutes, and then Lando, still on comms, told Kara to attack. She jumped down and fought all the bad guys. Then Luca came down as well. When Kara saw Luca, she got grabbed by the arms and pushed down to her knees. Good job, Luca, a cheer. You brought her to me. Yes, said Luca, but you can't hurt her, father. Kara looked up to Luca and asked, Father? That is your father? I wanted to tell you, said Luca, but then I would risk all of these red pandas getting killed. Kara was trying to get loose from those guys holding her down. While she did that, Luca's father punched her in the face, knocking her unconscious. When Kara got conscious again, she was laying down on the ground, looked up in a room with one window. She looked out of that window and saw Luca walking towards the building. When he was inside, he looked at Kara and said, "Good, you are awake. I wasn't sure if you would. My father kinda hit you hard." "You could say that," said Kara, not really caring about what Luca said. She looked at Luca and said, "Why are you doing this? This doesn't suit you. This is not who you really are." "No," said Luca. "This is what I have to do." "You," said Kara. "I trusted you. I thought you were my friend." "I was," said Luca. "But if you'll excuse me now, I have to finish the job. To hurt everyone you care about." Luca wanted to walk away, but heard Kara. Bury all your secrets in my skin. Come away with innocence and leave me with my sins. The air around me still feels like a cage, and love is just a camouflage for what resembles rage again. She stepped away from the window, looked at Luca and sang, "So if you love me, let me go, and run away before I know. My heart is just too dark to care. I can't destroy what is in there." Luca wanted to walk away and tried to close the door, whilst Kara tried to stop him while singing, "Deliver me unto my faith. If I'm alone, I cannot hate. I don't deserve to have you. Ooh, my smile was taken long ago. If I can change, I hope I never know." The guys who grabbed Kara earlier grabbed her again by the arms. They made her follow Luca while she sang, "I still press your letters to my lips and cherish them in parts of me that savor every kiss. I couldn't face a life without your light. But all of that was ripped apart when you refused to fight." When she sang that, she pulled herself loose from those guys and walked towards Luca. She sang then, "So save your breath, I will not care. I think I made it very clear. You couldn't hate enough to love. Is that supposed to be enough? I only wish you weren't my friend, and I can hurt you in the end. I never claimed to be a saint. Ooh, my own was vanished long ago. Took the death hope to let you go." Then she got attacked by the followers of Simon. She fought them hard. She let out a powerful blast when she sang, "Oh!" The blast knocked all the followers out, and Kara ran towards Luca, who walked away when Kara got attacked. Kara punched Luca in his face while singing, "So break yourself against my stones and spit your pity in my soul. You never needed any help." Let's do that again. Take 2. "So break yourself against my stones and spit your pity in my soul." She threw him away while singing, "You never needed any help. You sold me out to save yourself." She punched him again, this time in the stomach while singing, "And I won't listen to your shame. You ran away, you're all the same. She grabbed him by the collar of his shirt again and sang, Angels light, keep control. Ooh, my love was punished long ago. If you still care, don't ever let me know. Then she pushed him against the tree. He hit his head hard against the tree. So hard that it knocked him unconscious. Kara walked towards him and sang, If you still care, don't ever let me know. She picked Luca up and walked further into the forest. Kyra, did she hear 5 minutes after the battle? It was Luca. What happened? You hit your head, said Kyra, who was laying down on a tree branch like a red panda. Tell me, why did you do this to me? Luca sighed and said, I can't. My father won't allow it. Stop thinking about your father, said Kara. Start thinking about what you want. She jumped down from the branch. She walked towards Luca, put her hands on his cheeks and said, You are mature enough to think for yourself. He lied to you, so it would make it square if you lied to him. Luca looked at Kara and felt tears swimming in his eyes. I'm sorry, did he say? His voice was breaking. I'm sorry I did this to you. He turned away from Kyra and said, I should have been a better friend. Luca, said Kyra. She wrapped her arms around Luca and said, An honest friend is better than a good friend. Luca felt Kyra putting her chin on his shoulder and said, Really? Really? Said Kyra, and she made Luca turn towards her. Now tell me what is truly going on. Luca looked at the ground, inhaled deeply and then said, It all started when I found out about this verse. I asked him about it. He said it was for his new friends. But I knew he was lying about that. When he took me to this forest for the first time, he wanted me to catch some of the red pandas. I did not want to get involved with such things, but still did what he said. Then I saw them for the first time eating bamboo. It was so peaceful. I left them be. I went back to base camp and told my father I didn't succeed. At first he said, Don't worry, son. This happens to the best men also. He took me inside for a drink. He manipulated me to do what he said. And if I still said no, he would hypnotize me. He's done that to many of his workers, I've been told. That's why I didn't need help with the escape route. And I also told Lando to lead the attack. He looked up to Kyra and said, I'm so sorry for all this. Kyra saw a tear falling down from Luca's eyes. She wiped the tear from his face, put her hands on his cheeks and said, You couldn't do anything. He had you under control. But you need to stop blaming yourself for what he did. You are not responsible for his actions. But I am though, said Luca. I have to speak up for him when he does something against the law. I have to follow him wherever he goes. Luca, said Kara, you don't have to keep doing what your father says. You don't have to keep following him wherever he goes. Follow me instead. Luca kissed Kara and then said, I love you more than anything, Kara. I'm gonna go to my father and tell him I want to quit. You will stay up in the trees. I will be on comms. When I say the name of your panda, you have to jump down and help me. Kara nodded and Luca kissed her again. Then Luca went back to his father. God, Kyra jumped into the trees and followed Luca until he came to a stop at the base camp. Kyra, did Kyra hear Luca say on the comms. They aren't here. Kyra jumped down and said, but they were here when I left them. Where could they have gone? I will ask Lando to find it out for us, said Luca, and he called Lando. Back in Auckland, Lando was hard at work. He was trying to find out where the bad guys were going to. Then he heard the doorbell. Lando went to open the door. It was the school principal. He let him in and the principal said, Lando, Kyra and Luca have gone missing. Do you know where they are? No, said Lando. They must have stayed in Australia. The principal sighed and said, that's worrying, because this morning I called with all the managers of all the Formula 1 teams. They said that they left with you. Lando looked down and said, they are in the jungle, trying to set free all the red pandas that are stuck in the cages Luca told you about. Kyra couldn't just sit back and watch how those men torture them, killing them for the hides. Then we will send the Avengers to them, said the principal. No, said Lando a bit too loud. Sorry, but you can't do that. Kyra specialized in martial arts. She can protect Luca and herself. The doorbell went again, and Lando opened, but he closed the door immediately. The person who stood in front of the door was Simon. Lando locked the door and went back to the computer. Simon banged loudly on the door. Lando was desperately trying to reach out to Kyra and Luca, but the principal barricaded all the entrances. You go, said Lando to the principal. Get yourself to safety. The principal did what Lando said, while Lando called in on Kyra and Luca. Kyra, Luca, did Kyra and Luca hear over the comms. He's here at my place, trying to get in. Come quick. I don't know how long he's busy trying to break in. How are you gonna get there quickly? Asked Luca. Kyra grabbed his hand and started to run. In no time they reached the coast. What are we gonna do now, Kyra? Swim? Asked Luca. Kyra looked at him and said, I can make ground appear wherever I want. Just follow me. She made fists, closed her eyes, and took a deep breath. Luca saw how there appeared a path over the water. Kyra opened her eyes and started to run. Luca followed her. Within just a few minutes they reached the coast of New Zealand. There was a car waiting, with Happy Hogan standing next to it. Happy? Asked Kyra. Yes, said Happy. Parker sent me to bring you wherever you and your sidekick want. Great, said Luca. Bring us to Lando's house. Emergency. They got in the car, and Happy brought them to their destiny. Simon had broken through the barriers and slowly walked towards Lando. He grabbed Lando by the throat and said, Where is that human-sized panda? Where is she? Looking back needs to become your second nature, did they hear? It was Happy. Next to him stood Luca, and he said, Father, you don't have to be like this. There are better ways to make money than selling those hides you don't need. I don't, said Simon. How else are we going to pay rent? Pay school? How are you going to live if you don't have a business? Be an honest businessman, said Kyra, who just walked into the room. Simon turned around to Kyra and said, There you are. I've been looking for you. He let Lando loose and slowly walked towards Kyra. When he got to her, he punched her in the face. Kyra went flying through the kitchen into a bookshelf. You need to stay away from my business, said Simon. You really need to consider your actions. Kara looked at him and said, They're considered. She flew against him and they started to fight. Happy grabbed Lando and pulled him away from the battle. Kara and Simon were fighting hard, kicking, punching, throwing stuff at each other and blocking each other's moves. They went up the stairs and fought on the balcony. Simon kicked Kara against the wall and said, This is your last chance to yield. Give up now and I will let you live. No, said Kara, while she slowly got up. You yield. She jumped up to him, but he punched her off. Kara grabbed onto the side of the balcony and pulled herself up. She punched Simon off the balcony and jumped down with him. Then she did a Black Widow move and a hard punch to KO him. The police arrived and took Simon with them. One day later, Luca met Kara at the coast. So, did he say, what are you going to do now? Kara looked at him and said, I'm gonna stay with the pandas. It's my job to protect them. So I'm going to live there. Luca jumped a little when she said that. He then said, why do you have to go into the jungle to protect them? We can do this from here. He felt tears in his eyes. I don't want you to go, Kara. Kara grabbed Luca's hands and said, I know this isn't what you want, but I have to stay in the jungle to protect the source of my powers. She gave something to Luca. Keep this rock safe. If you ever need me, if the world needs me, you have to put this rock in flames and I will be there. Luca nodded and smiled. Thank you, Kara, said Luca. He kissed Kara and then Kara flew away. A few moments later, Luca turned around to go home, but saw a van stopping in front of him. Nick Fury stepped out and said, Happy Hogan told me about a girl who dresses up like a red panda. Now you are gonna tell me where she is. She's gone to protect the source of her powers, said Luca, in the jungle at the Himalayas. When is she coming back? Asked Fury. Luca turned towards the ocean and said, She knows when to come at the right time. Well, you better be right about that, said Fury. Why do you think she'll come back? I just know, said Luca, and he looked down at the rock Kara gave him. He turned back to Fury and asked, Why do you want to know all this? Fury looked at Luca and smiled. We need her for the team, said Fury.
So, I hope you guys enjoyed. It has, I think, just started to rain. And, yeah. Let me know in the comments down below what you think I should do for my schedule. I'm going to change it fully, completely, not like podcasts and stuff, because I prefer to have them on a Saturday. Do I either move the vlogs to Monday or the DIYs to Monday? So either the vlogs or the DIY videos or the tutorials to Monday. Or do I have the new series that's going to go on for several years until I stop watching racings on Monday and keep the rest on normal? So let me know that in the comments down below, and please subscribe if you haven't already. Happy Easter to every single one of you. Tomorrow I'm going to go back to my internship. I am free because it's Easter weekend. Basically I had 2 days off. Basically I had Friday off, which is today for me, because it's Good Friday. And I had Monday off because it is the second day of Easter. So for you guys watching today, I have today off. Yeah, there will be another tutorial video coming up, and that is probably building a hotel. Yeah, I just wanted to make an hotel, and it's going to be taken over. Well, it's going to be taking quite a few episodes to build it, so I won't be doing any other DIY stuff between. I do want to know, should I make like a what do you call it? A playlist on my channel with every single video that I've done in order of when they were uploaded, or do I not do that? I want to know. So also let me know that. Also let me know that in the comments down below. I will put everything that I want to have in the comments. I want to know from you guys. I will put that in the comments, not in the comments, in the description. Also, 2 videos from LaurenzSide I, where I basically got the idea from the baking. It's gonna look, it's gonna be like a Frankenstein cake and a Frankenstein cookie if I do it. I'm also gonna be singing. I just remembered. I need to find some Spanish and French songs for when they win. Yeah. You will all be hearing everything that I'm going to be doing on the podcast on Saturday during the Pierre Gasly podcast. I would like to point out that after that podcast, I went onto Gasly's Instagram and found a post from him saying that I had to go to some other person's channel, and there was an article about Gasly during Spa 2019, where he lost his best friend. Antoine was kind of like his brother to him, which I didn't know before, so now I do. Basically, the article is named, it's kind of like, do you know the real Pierre? Because Pierre Gasly. Well, Pierre is good at hiding stuff. He's good at hiding. Might cut spit out. But yeah, thank you all very much for watching, and I will see you guys during... I forgot. Now there is a meme on my channel. Demi.exe has stopped working. Someone can clip that and put it over. I don't know how to do it. Basically, I can't do that with my recording setup, with my editing setup. So if someone can clip that part and put that over it, you can post it on your channel if you're a YouTube channel, but make sure to tag me in it. Basically, it's going to be a meme on my channel now. But yeah, I will see you guys on Tuesday for another tutorials video. I've remembered a tutorial video on a hotel. And yeah, happy Easter!